Imagine reaching into your pocket and pulling out a penny that doesn't look like a penny at all. It's not copper, it's not brown. Instead, it shines with a dull silver color, almost like a small piece of steel. For a moment, you pause, because something feels different. And then a question hits your mind. Is this just an old coin, or something incredibly rare? That moment of curiosity is exactly where this story begins. Today, we are exploring one of the most unusual and fascinating coins ever produced in American history, the 1943 D steel wheat penny. And by the end of this video, you might never look at a penny the same way again. Welcome to Royal Coin Value USA, where every coin carries history, and sometimes hidden value. To understand why this coin exists, we need to go back to one of the most intense periods in modern history. The year was 1943. The world was in the middle of World War II. Countries were fighting across continents, and every resource became critical. Metals like copper were no longer just materials, they were essential for war. Copper was needed to produce ammunition, electrical wiring, and communication systems. And because of that, the United States government made a decision that would completely change the appearance of the 1-cent coin. For 1 year only, pennies would no longer be made from copper. Instead, they would be made from steel, coated with zinc. That single decision created one of the most unique coins ever seen in everyday circulation. This particular coin, the 1943 D steel penny, was struck at the famous Denver Mint. You can identify it by the small letter D below the date. That tiny detail connects the coin to a specific location and moment in history. During 1943, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of these steel pennies. So at the time, they were everywhere. People used them to buy food, pay for transportation, and carry out daily life, all while the world was at war. Now take a closer look at the coin itself. On the front, you see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln. His calm and thoughtful expression has been part of American coinage since 1909. Above his head are the words, "In God we trust." To the left, the word liberty. And to the right, the date, 1943. Below the date, the small D mint mark. Everything looks normal, except for one thing. The color? Instead of the warm brown tone of copper, this coin has a cold metallic appearance. That's because it is made of steel, and that single difference changed everything. For the first time in U.S. history, a circulating coin could stick to a magnet. Yes, a penny that behaves like a piece of metal from a workshop. This alone made the 1943 steel penny one of the most unusual coins ever produced. But while the idea seemed practical, it quickly created new problems. People began to complain. The coins rusted easily. They developed dark spots. They lost their shine. And perhaps, most importantly, they were easily confused with dimes. Imagine trying to buy something and accidentally giving a dime instead of a penny, or receiving the wrong change. It became frustrating. Because of these issues, the steel penny experiment lasted only 1 year. By 1944, the United States Mint returned to copper coins. But interestingly, the copper used in 1944 came from recycled wartime shell casings. So even after the steel penny disappeared, the war still influenced coin production. Now let's talk about what makes the 1943 D steel penny valuable today. At first glance, you might think that a coin produced in such large numbers would have no real value. And in most cases, that's true. A typical circulated 1943 D steel penny is worth around 25 cents to $1. Yes, not very much. But here's where things start to change. Condition is everything. If a coin is well preserved, with minimal wear and strong original luster, its value increases significantly. Uncirculated coins can sell for $10 to $50. Higher grade examples can go beyond $100. And coins graded by professional services like Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company often bring even higher prices. But now comes the most exciting part of the story, the part that keeps collectors searching, hoping, checking every coin they find. Some 1943 pennies were not made of steel. Instead, they were accidentally struck on copper planchets left over from 1942. These coins were never supposed to exist, but a few slipped through the minting process. And today, they are among the most valuable coins in the world. A genuine 1943 copper penny can be worth over $100,000, sometimes even more. Imagine that. A single penny, worth more than a house. That's why collectors always check. Because even though the chances are small, the possibility is real. So how can you tell the difference? It's simple. Use a magnet. If the coin sticks, it's steel. If it does not stick, you may have something extremely rare. Now let's come back to your coin. A typical 1943D steel penny, like the one you might be holding, shows signs of wear. There may be scratches, dark spots, small areas of corrosion. All of this is normal for a coin that is over 80 years old, and while that may lower its monetary value, it does not reduce its historical importance. Because this coin has lived through time. It may have been carried by someone during the war, used in everyday transactions. Saved, lost, found again. Coins like this are not just objects, they are witnesses. Silent witnesses to history. Every mark on the surface tells a story. Every scratch is a reminder of its journey. Every detail connects it to a moment in time that shaped the world. And that is what makes coin collecting so powerful. It is not just about money, it is about connection. To history, to people, to moments that would otherwise be forgotten. At Royal Coin Value USA, we believe that every coin has a story worth discovering. The 1943D steel penny is not the rarest coin. It is not the most valuable, but it is one of the most meaningful. Because it represents a time when the world changed, when resources were limited, when innovation was necessary, and when even something as small as a penny had to adapt. So the next time you see a coin that looks different, don't ignore it. Pause, look closer. Because sometimes the most ordinary object can hold the most extraordinary story. And who knows? The next coin you find might just change everything. This is Royal Coin Value USA, where history meets value, and every coin tells a story worth listening to.